speaking of doing things the right way, Ben Simmons, the Sixers head coach said in a fucking press conference, I don't know what we're supposed to do with this guy. Basically, after they lost in the playoffs, they're trying to trade him. Ben Simmons said, all right, bet, trade me. I'm not coming back to play for you. And it has engendered response on the internet. John, how do you feel about Ben Simmons?
I feel like Ben Simmons is doing what normal humans would do in that situation. Somebody says they don't want you there, and you don't, and you agree, and then they try to go back on that shit. What's weird to me is like how everybody on the planet is pointing at Doc. Like, you see what this motherfucker did, right? You know what I'm saying? And nobody in the organization is, they're like, what? Like they don't see any of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the motherfucker got in front of the whole world and said, I don't know if we could win with this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And you think he would want to come back? Like, that's not a weird thing to do. Like, that player would want to play for that player, and it's weird that he doesn't want to play for Doc. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's odd how everybody sees how weird the situation is with Doc, other than the people in that organization. And also, if we're being honest, there's no reason that Ben should have even been in that fucking situation. When he had to, it's wild that he didn't dunk that ball. That's wild shit. But we can't take, but he shouldn't have, dog, if Doc was like decent, if he was tenable at his job in the playoffs, you feel me? They had no business being in that situation in the first place. So I don't know, man. I think the Sixers are weird for putting all this pressure on Simmons, when I think the real issue is like, oh, did you see what fucking Doc did after that game to start this whole shit? The fuck?
Yeah, see, I think the whole Ben Simmons situation is interesting on a couple fronts. First and foremost, the biggest takeaway from me in all this is, it's a bit of a study into how we view what is quote unquote professional and what is quote unquote unprofessional, and how that notion of what professionalism is leveraged by employers to their benefit. Like, we're getting a case study in that shit right now. But I want to make a couple things clear before addressing that. Although I'm firmly on Ben Simmons' side in this whole dispute or whatever, I do not fault the Sixers organization at all for, reaching the decision that it's time to trade Ben. I think that's best for all parties involved here. Fact of the matter is, Ben's a limited player. He's a flawed player. He's a project, the motherfucker is 2 years away from being 2 years away, right? And when you have a guy like Embiid, who's in his prime, and elite talent in the league, one of the, 4 or 5 guys who could fuck around and win, defensive player and MVP. When that's your number one guy, then your number 2 guy can't be a project. You know what I'm saying? You're working on Embiid's window. And truth be told, that's a shaky ass window given Embiid's injury history. So time is of the fucking essence. You absolutely have to get Simmons out of there and find a legit number 2 guy, because Ben ain't it. Now with that said, here's where I take issue with the Sixers and how they've completely botched this whole Ben Simmons trade situation, right? It's an obvious smear campaign that they're running on Ben now, and they're doing it to mask their ineptitude, right? They're doing it to take the spotlight off how they've had about 3 months to get this guy traded and nothing has materialized because Morey's asking for the fucking moon and the stars, right? And the way they're smearing him, it's as I mentioned, it's by weaponizing this bullshit concept of professionalism that they know most people, especially Sixers fans, are going to buy hook and sinker. They're convincing folks that Ben Simmons is taking his trade value by not returning calls, by not showing up to camp. They even do a little motherfucking, razzle dazzle with the Rich Paul as a tyrant running amok there, for good measure.
He's got to fire Rich Paul.
Right? Fire your fucking agent. And it's all bullshit because, look, no one who is interested in Ben Simmons is backing out of trade talks because they found out Ben is sending Daryl Morey to voicemail. Not a damn GM is backing out because of that, right? And if your dumbass believes that, then I got some motherfucking beachfront property in Idaho to sell your dumbass, right? And of course, Ben's
give it a couple
years.
Give it a couple years,
right? Ben's trade value, it's rock bottom. It hit rock bottom after he refused to dunk on Trae Young. It sunk even deeper after Doc and Embiid buried him after that series. But Ben is not taking his trade value any further by hitting ignore when the Sixers call him. And I can't believe people are eating that bullshit up. But the reason they are is, like I said, people have a distorted view of professionalism. And employers leverage that to their advantage all the time. The Sixers told Ben they were going to trade him. Ben said, cool, there's nothing for us to talk about. Hit my agent. I'm not coming to camp. It's agreed. I'll never play another game for the Sixers again. And he's being vilified for this. And like I said, it comes down to the Sixers leveraging the distorted view of professionalism that so many people have. Professionalism, a lot of times, is a scam where the burden is put on the worker to always be a bigger person, even in situations where their employer is showing them they're dispensable. And fuck that. Your professionalism is not defined by how you let your employers jerk you around. Sixers made it clear they wanted to trade Ben, and Ben is making them stand firm on that. And I don't see a damn thing unprofessional about that.
I think that especially happens in sports because anytime there's a divorce, like the kid, you're always going to side with the parent that you have to live with 5 days a week to some extent, And so if you're a Sixers fan, you're like, well, I'm stuck with Doc and Morey. So
right.
I better find a way to love the one I'm with. But let me just paint a third grade elementary school lunchtime picture of what Doc Rivers did. You have a bag of baby carrots and you are trying to trade it for a chocolate pudding. You cannot say to the person with the chocolate pudding, yeah, these carrots, man, I don't know, like they don't really do it for me either. You got to say these carrots will make you jump higher.
Right.
You got to sell the carrots.
Carrots.
You can't neg the value of your asset to try and get more for it. Like he went in the press conference right after the game and said, I don't know if you can win with this guy. The Lakers would never say that about Kyle Kuzma. They'd never say that about Dennis Schroeder. No one would say that about any player they have because he's either your guy and you're trying to boost him up, or he's not your guy and you're trying to trade him, in which case, why would you slap a defective sticker over his fucking forehead?
Right.
It just doesn't make sense. And Doc is out there today saying, oh, those comments were taken out of context. It's live video, Doc.
We saw the shit, bro. We saw the whole shit. What you mean taken out of context, motherfucker? We saw the whole motherfucking thing, Doc. God damn. And look,
Bron was calling Kuzma. Go ahead. You said what?
I was going to say, I completely get people saying that, well, yeah, Ben needed to hear that. Yeah, Ben needed to hear that. We didn't need to fucking hear that.
Right. Right.
That's horrible coaching for Ben to say that publicly. I think it would have been great coaching if Doc pulled him aside one-on-one and said, you're not confident in yourself, so I'm not confident in you, and we got to fix that. That's good coaching. Burying him like that,
that's
like he
the
did in
kind of
public,
coach he has the reputation for being.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's his reputation as the dude who's that guy, right?
Yeah.
And to say he tried to be Phil Jackson or something, talking to someone through the media, and he did it backwards.
He wasn't trying to be Phil. He was trying to save his ass because his ass was on the hot seat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's exactly what he was trying to do. And with Kuzma, Bron was calling Kuzma fucking Scottie Pippen. You know what I'm saying? Like he had us thinking he was like, like dog, like, yeah, that's how you sell somebody. If you know somebody is like, yo, this is a solid piece that I might want to move at some point. You know what I mean? But I don't know, like Ben Simmons, I don't know what they would do. Like Ben Simmons is a 3-time All-Star. So like, I guess we look at him like a project because we want him to be able to shoot and all this shit. Maybe Ben Simmons is what Ben Simmons is.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he's good. So I mean, he's a second man.
He's an all-star.
He's a 3-time all-star of the 4 years he's been in the league. So
doing the things that he does.
Right. He's a second option, but not a second option on a team that's trying to win a chip. You know what I mean?
He's a third option on a team trying to win a chip.
Oh, exactly.
Which is why if you're the Sixers, that's what you're saying. He's a world-class defender. Obviously, physically, he has tools that not many people at his position. I mean, you just like...
But you don't say the man can't win and then try to trade the man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's ridiculous. So that's what I'm saying. That's what it's... I think the issue... I don't think the issue is with... I think Ben Simmons is a good player. You know what I'm saying? I don't think the issue is with Ben Simmons not being that. I think there's the fact that Doc got on fucking camera in front of the whole fucking world in the fucking playoffs and said, my nigga, I don't know if I can win with this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that started the we saw them not decide not to shoot that ball and be scared to shoot and all that. But I mean, like we saw that. But I think Doc put the stamp on that bitch when he in that in the post game presser. You feel what I'm saying? Like, dog. So
the other issue is that Morey set the price too high. Yeah. I mean, because regardless of what Doc has said, there's plenty of video out there about Ben Simmons. Like people know he's a bag of carrots. You know what I mean? It's got nutritional value, but like you're not giving up the pudding. You know what I mean? So I like that's the other side of this is it's just going to come down to how much is he willing to pay in fines and how much are the Sixers willing to swallow their pride and accept something in return for him.
Bro, it's going to be some rotation players and some picks. That's the ceiling on him. And
They're
that's
getting 4 firsts.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, they tried to hit fucking the Warriors up. They wanted 2 starters and fucking 4 first rounders. Like, God damn. This is a bag of carrots, bro. You know what I'm saying? But shit.
If we keep it in a stack, though, if I'm Ben, I'm taking my ass. I mean, I swallow my pride. I think he's using $300K a day, or they said I heard something like that. Like, he's using a lot of money. Like, bro, I don't know, dog. But like you were saying, Tyler. Like, this is not. I don't think Ben's making a decision that's not normal. Like, you know what I mean? That the only thing that makes it abnormal is the amount of money. If somebody said they didn't want me, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm I'm an all-star player. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, I don't have to fuck with y'all niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I get where he's coming from.
Yeah, he's
that $300K a day. God damn, nigga, shit.
I don't think it's there just yet. They mentioned some vague team fines that he's getting for skipping camp, but if they don't trade him before the season starts, he'll miss like $200,000 a game. So that's where we're at, though.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a lot of fucking money.
That's a lot of money. You show up for one game and then just give the money to us. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna just strap my dick to my stomach and go ahead and go ahead and show up to these games, man. Pitch it between my legs and go ahead and pull up, man. Fuck it, nigga. $200K a game, bro. Sheesh.
I don't know. I think something else interesting to discuss here is how the whole, whenever some shit like this happens, everyone talks about, is this bad for the league? Is this going to set a precedent? I don't think it's going to set shit, for one. This is just, it's a very unique situation where, Ben is, he contributes so much on like the defensive end. And then on the offensive end, he's pretty much a fucking negative, right? So he's a very unique case. And the Sixers are cutting ties with him very early in his contract. But the whole thing is, if you're going to cry about how teams that draft players can't hold on to their players, then you can't really complain about him cashing out on the rookie extension that he's on right now. You know what I mean? Because that's put in place for that. For all the, well, what about the small market team motherfuckers? That shit sounds like, what am I going to tell my kids whenever I hear NBA fans say that bullshit? Well, how am I going to explain this to my kids? Right? That's the what about the small market shit. But not saying
some
Philly,
men,
yeah.
Some boys like boys and some girls like girls and some millionaires like living in enjoyable cities to live in.
And there's space for all of that. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. Not at all saying Philly's a small market team, but you feel me on that. So like I said, if you're going to complain about, how teams that draft players often lose them, you can't really complain about Ben cashing out on the rookie extension he's on now. I don't see that shit don't click.
Wait. So what are they saying? How is this bad? Like how would they warp this to be bad for the league? I don't get that.
They have warped this to Ben forcing his way out after the Sixers told him that they wanted to trade him.
Like they're saying that's bad for the league. Like what the like they told the nigga. I don't understand how motherfuckers could even try. Like, are any fans believing this? Are people like actually?
Go look at all the fucking Eagles Abbeys and Sixers Abbeys in my mentions when I'm calling motherfuckers out on this. Motherfuckers are riding hard for this shit, bro.
Whew.
Love the one
willfully dumb.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Ignoring what you saw with your own eyes, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like what you saw with your own eyes. We all saw what Doc said. And now, that's just crazy. I just think it's crazy. It's wild.